Amy wanted to know, how will agentic AI change the nature of shopper engagement?
Oh, that's a doozy because I think it's not going to change how consumers are interacting. There have been so many different developments from the merge of data and tech to really open up the door to people that may not even know that they're using AI or using AI. For example, I feel like there are the younger generation that are not named yet as a generation, but they're actually talking into their phones when they're searching. And so that actually is an age AI. They're talking to Alexa, they're talking to all these different agents, whether it be, online or in store. Then you have the boomers that are actually utilizing some of the agents like Sparky on Walmart or Rufus on Amazon. So I think it's here. I think the interesting part is that a lot of people don't know that it's AI, but they're using it to shop, and it's going to, quicken the demand of what people are really looking for.
Speaking of what people are really looking for, Amy wanted to talk about the advances in AI-powered personalization. What's the state of AI-powered personalization, and where do you see it going?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's on this, it's, two sides of the spectrum. So it's there, the capability is there, but you still need that human element to ensure that what is going out into the world is compliant with what the brand guidelines are looking for, what legal guidelines are looking for. And so what we're doing from our perspective is working with legal teams, the brand teams to really try to bring everyone into the process in order to make sure that we're moving in an efficient manner, because it is going to make sure that we are delivering the message that our consumers are looking for when they're looking for it. It's just a matter of having that human touch to make sure that when it does go out there, that it's not, someone with three arms and three legs. It's really just something where it talks to the consumer and actually drives that purchase.
So hoping you can just walk me through the way that the lines between media and marketplaces are blurring with the rise of retail media networks and now commerce media networks. Where are the lines blurring, and how do you feel about it
Yeah.
as in working with your clients?
I think it's everywhere. There are some people that have been in this industry for a very long time that are used to guardrails. Personally, I'm not. I'm used to painting white space, and that's what I'm passionate about. And so, from my standpoint, and with my team, I tell them, you can never be wrong. There's always something that's going to pop up the next day, and so there's always change. So change is going to be the constant. And so, when you're looking at how teams are actually focused on commerce today, there are teams that may touch commerce. They may do some sort of shoppable tech. There may be teams that talk QR codes. There are teams that could probably be really good at Target or their PDP pages or retail media. And so we have to accept that there is that gray area. And I think our clients have to do the same. And so what I mentioned about, there's two sides of the spectrum. There are some clients that are starting to warm up to the idea that that's there, and then there are other clients that are starting to make moves and change the organization to make sure that there is agility when it comes to commerce, because it's not just one team. Commerce is now integrated into everything, so everyone needs to be accountable for it.
So, Amy wanted to get your sense of another balanced question. How are AI-driven performance marketing efforts driving incremental sales versus just moving existing inventory around?
Yeah, so I think from our standpoint, we have retailer clients, so we see it on the sales side, and then we also have the CPGs or the endemic that are selling products on the site, and then we also have non-endemic people that are selling the actual advertising to a retailer, or a customer at that retailer. And so what we're seeing is this like merge of how the agentic systems are really driving simplification. And so what I mean by that is there are different ways that people shop now on Amazon, for example. And so you're not going to type in, I want a specific sunscreen. You're just going to type sunscreen. So if you think of how you're shopping the physical store, you shop differently online. So how do you actually combat that? And how do you actually bring that to the client and teach the client and have them actually change how they're buying? Conversely, you have to talk to a retailer and educate them in the same manner of people are buying differently in different ecosystems. So we're actually teaching that. So there is a plus minus on both sides, but we're trying to make sure that everyone is educated for their perspective. So then when these changes happen from a media consumption and behavior standpoint, then we're actually making that change for the greater good, as all ships rise, they say, but it's more so having everyone understand what's going on in the space.
Wanted to know what's going on with agentic AI handling more routine retail media tasks. How are you repositioning your commerce teams to focus on the higher value strategic work? How does that balance work out?
Yeah, so it's interesting because right now we believe that the new model will eat the old model. So what that means is that there's going to be someone has to be really self-sufficient in some of the new challenges that are out there. So for example, in the past, when you were working with a Walmart and you were selling your product at Walmart, you dropped off a pallet at the store and you said, "Hey Walmart, let me know how much you sell." Nowadays, you have to go actually onto Walmart.com. You have to set up the actual destination. You have to drive traffic there. You have to pick the assortment. You have to understand ratings and reviews and also capitalize that all together. That is a lot of work. And that is actually new work that we've actually created for ourselves when we're actually seeing this merge of the data and technology, as I mentioned earlier. And so, what we're trying to do is piece all of those different tools to create a platform or a system to make that easier for our clients and us to understand what's going on in real time. Because if you think about it, I'm only talking about Walmart. There's 200 plus retail media networks, and you could include commerce and integrators in that. Then when you're talking about pages on Walmart, there's numerous aisles that you could create because people are shopping differently. So you could have 4,000 products across 200, retailers, and then there's different pages and everything else you have to look at. So how is one person actually going to be able to honestly look at that? They're not going to. They're going to look at probably like the top products that are selling most of their volume and kind of forget the rest. And so what we're doing is trying to figure out what system and what solutions we could put in place to actually deliver upon that challenge that we've created.